Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. A little bit of a consolidation day today in the markets. With a jobs report coming tomorrow, we've been pretty much just we were holding steady for pretty much the whole day. After an initial pop up in the markets, we kind of just settled into really just a range for the rest of the day as we didn't hold that opening mark. You can see here what's kind of happening, after this this initial rundown. We've settled into a really a trading range. We did make a little bit of a peak over this kind of this recent swing high, but not necessarily any follow through. I suspect that if it's going to happen, tomorrow will be the catalyst to do it or to break below it with this jobs report and things of that nature. Now you can see here, right? We've been really just kind of at this 1880 level for quite some time, and so that's going to be something to watch. Is this range able to break? And that's going to be really, really important to see kind of what's happening with the market. In terms of the Nasdaq, you can see what's kind of been happening here is right after this initial thrust down. We've been just coming right. We've been making a move, just filling up these gaps here, right? Filling up these gaps here, and it looks like for now the Nasdaq has still got a lot of real damage, to damage to repair, much more than the S&P, which is really holding right near highs. And you can see here, just even from our previous kind of levels of resistance, we're still quite a bit of ways away. Another good rip day away. So I think tomorrow's going to be really the mark that everybody's going to keep an eye on. And really what we'll have to be watching is how do the Russell 2000 and Nasdaq act? As you can see, they're just much weaker than the actual S&P. And when you want to see the market go, it's really important, at least for the type of trading I do in terms of momentum, to really have Uncle Russ and Nasdaq leading the way. That tells you kind of the appetite for risk is on, and that the more speculative names that I personally like to trade and have a lot of volatility in are getting the juice. Otherwise, it looks like right with the Russell, I mean, this thing is just barely holding on again. We could see, with a little bit of bad news tomorrow, right? We could see kind of a break of this trend line and, back down to recent lows we go. And, then obviously an imminent break of the 200-day moving average would happen. So we got to really be careful here. We've got some positive things going in terms of the S&P near highs, and it looks like it's attempting to make a thrust into highs. And if tomorrow the jobs report comes out the way people like, and that goes to highs, that can help lift the other indices. But the carnage over here, something doesn't go right, is that we're going to test this 1100 level. If we break down, where do we break to, right? Maybe 1050 or so. And so those are some of the key levels to really watch. In terms of our watch list, I got a short watch list. One of the things that we've been doing is, we've been playing kind of some of the same stocks over and over. It's because right now what's happening is, a lot of stocks just look like crap, and so, we have kind of a go-to list of stocks that, we play that have a nice range and things like that, like Yelp and Zillow, SPLK, Kihu, a certain amount of stocks, SCTY. And a lot of those stocks will be day trading them back and forth as they, give you a really nice range. W Days, another one. You'll see big $3, $4, $5 ranges in these things, and that gives you kind of a way to really trade and kind of nip and tuck your way until the market gives you a clear direction of where to go. Let's take a watch list today. So this was actually what I missed this today. I was actually looking at trying to take this thing at the open, and there's just no volume in it. And then it finally came out at the end. It did have a nice flag break here and kind of took off a day-long consolidation. But this is a stock that you really after the IPO, it's just kind of been coming down. And we saw this with WB. We took a really good trade in WB at the open, and we've been trading it the last 2-3 days successfully. Once these IPO stocks, after they have the initial thrust, what you'll see is kind of a nice, easy-go-lucky pullback. And then, once you start to see a little bit of a consolidation, and I like to use a 30-minute chart, once that base is put in, you can start to see a run back to highs, or at least a nice little pop in this. And Watt, had a good pop today. It's just day one. We could see there might be some actual follow through. So on this tomorrow, so I'd keep this on watch. This was a pretty nice mover today. CIE, this is another stock that is an oil and gas stock. It's been a turd for really a long time. You can see I had a really nice pop on some expanded volume here. We've got this previous high over here, but it looks like this stock is in base breakout formation here. And so this can be in play tomorrow. CHGG, after this nasty little dump, we're starting to consolidate here and get a look for a base breakout. Ideally, I'd like to see this thing consolidate a little bit more, have that 20-day moving average flatten out, but it's starting to get ready. It's holding that lows. OHRP, same thing. We're going to need maybe a couple more days, but ideally you would need a biotech run too. These type of plays typically will go with biotechs start to move. And one of the things with the bios is they're not really doing much of anything right now. Even if the market bounces, they're still kind of hanging around. They're hanging around down here. So we need to see a thrust in biotechs. And if that happens, then some of these more speculative names will get picked up. GFA, this is more of a swing idea. This is a Brazilian home builder. I've been eyeballing this thing for a while. It wasn't ready before. It was kind of a little too extended running into resistance, but now it's starting to coil up. It's been flagging for the last month. Any break over 350, I think this one can really go. SRPT, nice little flag here. Right after the initial thrust, it's really kind of hanging on this 36 level and starting to round up. I think if it can come out of this zone, should be good. Cree is a stock that, if the market gets weak, this one's bear flagging here, and it's having trouble even after, usually after an earnings blow up, after a couple days, you start to get a dead cat bounce, kind of like what we saw with Pandora in the last couple days. But this one's not really getting any bounce. This suggests to me, lower prices in the cards. You can see this a really, really key level breakdown on a technical level. I mean, this stock is just dead. It did fill the gap down here, but it looks like it can't hold this area. Lower we go. MPEL's another one that looks like a bear flag. And there's a million stocks like this. You can have SPLK or FEYE. I mean, all these stocks look the same. I'm just kind of throwing out a couple different names rather than the four horsemen of death that we've been really shorting every day for the last month. Dang is a decent location here if you start to see a run in China stocks and stuff like that, right? Nice just pull back to the 200-day moving average. We didn't see a huge amount of like crazy volume distribution like we did in some of the other names. This might be a stock that gets picked up if we get a nice run in the market. Same thing with KNDI. You can see here this 11 area is really, really huge. We gave this a shot today. We added like 1150, and I kind of sold it for scratch. It just wasn't having any follow through. But it's at a really good location here, and if we get that bounce in the markets, look for a run to the 20-day moving average. CSIQ. So these solar stocks, they've been consolidated the last month, but see, they can't even bounce, right? They keep coming to the 200-day moving average. These bounces are really, really weak. It gets sold off at 30. So, this will be something that's on the hit list if the market rolls over. ARWR, another stock that's pulled back, just kind of an easy-go-lucky area. This one will also need a run in biotech to really get picked up, and if it does, then you've got an easy-go-lucky location. And then GoGo, having trouble bouncing here. Having trouble bouncing. This one tells me there's lower cards in this. This stock might be dead permanently at this point. I'd keep an eye on this one. Any type of consolidation, a kind of a rip below these lows, you're going to see, kind of a quick flush on this thing. It just can't hold anything right now. Might need a couple more days, but definitely worth a watch. So that's it for now, guys. Short watch list, and of course, this is earnings season, so we're playing a lot of the earnings plays and things like that. So every morning, right, we run scans to see like what's popping on earnings and things like that, and we'll be day trading those as those stocks will have some extra oomph in them in terms of catalysts. Now, this earnings season has been a little bit more brutal than the ones we've seen the last couple of years. We're not seeing those big 20, 30, 40% multi-day rippers that we saw the last so many years during earnings, where stock beats earnings and then it goes on a 3, 4, 5 day run, and you're able to really ride up a nice trend for a few days, and then it consolidates and rips again. Right now these earnings, even the good ones are or supposed good ones, are getting faded off, but it's still giving opportunities to play. And so a lot of these stocks have PRs or earnings. Yelp, Mac today was another one that we played 3, 4 times today. There's a lot of opportunity in these stocks when you're having trouble finding something on just a straight technical level, especially when the market's a little bit directionless. So that's it for now, guys. Let me know if you need anything, and I'll see you guys all in the chat room tomorrow.